We got a little something special for y'all of the Metroid Zero Mission variety.
Yep, in honor of Metroid Prime 4 coming out possibly soon, possibly not soon. We're gonna do
evidence of the gaming leaks and rumors variety.
Yep, we're gonna do a little Metroid marathon here, and we're kicking it off with the remake of the beginning, Metroid Zero Mission, from where all things begin. We had a live stream a while back, just testing everything out where we did NES Metroid, so we're not gonna redo that again. I'm gonna edit that and upload it to the channel if you want to check that out. But this is the official start, episode 1 of our Metroid Marathon. The Metroid Marathon beginneth with Metroid Zero Mission. I'm gonna delete a file here.
At least it's gonna be a New Game Plus file. Not that it makes any difference in this one.
Before I do that, let me make sure. Yeah, we got the stereo.
All right, back then I would play this and Fusion with the GBA audio with headphones on, which for this game not a big deal, but it's Fusion.
Well, I don't know about you, but for me, like, my GBA just never worked with headphones. Like, I would always just, even if I switch it to stereo, I would always get noise out of, like, one ear. Just, like, pure noise. Planet Zebeth, the place Samus once called home, coming back.
In peaceful times, long before evil haunted the caverns below, now I shall finally tell the tale of my first battle here, my so-called Zero Mission. Signs off Samus Aran. Which you might be wondering, so why is she here and everything? So in the Metroid universe, there's a big giant intergalactic empire called the Galactic Federation.
The Space United Nations, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. At least as far as we know right now, but we'll get into that a little later in the series. But basically, they sent a group of researchers out, and as researchers are wont to do, they find something they are like, holy crap, this is like the greatest thing ever. And then next thing you know, one thing leads to another, and the space pirates arrive, ransack the ship, kill the researchers, steal the specimen, and apparently it's so dangerous they have to send like a lone. It's so dangerous, but yet so low priority. They send one lone space bounty hunter, quote unquote.
I know they
do the job.
I know there's always whispers and rumors of Hollywood, trying to do a Metroid adaptation, but that's the one thing where I'm like, how are they gonna get around this? Where it's like, oh yeah, this is like the most like dangerous thing the Federation has. We're just gonna send one bounty hunter. Who doesn't even have a long range gun.
Yeah, if you're going by the logic of this game, and also the first one. Which even then, that doesn't make any sense, because in certain games that will be ripping apart later.
Lots of retcons and
there's lots
things
of retcons
not making sense.
And that's gonna be a hoot when we get to that. But yeah, it's that's the story. They don't say all that context in the actual game itself. I'm assuming the idea is like, that's certainly gonna be in the manual, which pretty standard for that time. By the way, nice amount of health you got there. That's pretty standard that it would be like in the manual. So,
yeah, especially when the original NES version came out, all the story and stuff was in the manual, and of course they referred to Samus as a he because having a female protagonist hadn't been invented yet.
I mean, someone will be like, well, what about Baraduke? And it's like, well, how many people made it to the end of of a hard 80s arcade game back in the day? You know what I mean?
I don't even know what game that is.
It's a Namco arcade game. It's similar premise where you're like a character in like a space suit of armor.
Oh, okay.
But if you get to the end, like she removes her helmet, and it's like,
So Nintendo ripped them off.
Well, it's kind of like saying like, oh yeah, I mean, a lot back in the 80s they were just ripping off of everything.
Yeah.
If they could, because you see,
because back then the inspiration for everything Metroid was the Alien movies. So.
Yep, Alien, and technically you could say like, oh, Contra is also an Alien, rip off because it's It has like just imagery, and it's like kind of similar. At least once you get to the end, you know, which I don't think they'd have any of that alien stuff in, or at least I don't think it's supposed to be aliens in Contra Hardcore Uprising, or even like the original Hardcore on Genesis. What little I played of it. Yeah, in Contra Hardcore, technically you have to play it like the Japanese version, or have like use a pack that like restores the hit points, because that game is apparently it's so hardcore, that the Japanese designer, like in the Japanese version, they made it to where you can take free hits before you die, as opposed to like one.
Yeah.
Back then.
Speaking of hardcore, this was a common complaint of Metroid and Metroid-like games back in the days. I don't have a map. Where do I go? So
Yeah.
Ever since Super Metroid, we've had maps and map stations. And at least in this game, it's not mandatory. We just went in there to show what it's like. But yeah, if you can fathom getting lost in Zero Mission of all games, there is a map system.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, back then, the main complaint was that everything looked the same, and that's mostly just because they didn't have enough.
Yeah.
They didn't have a whole lot of space to put those games on. I mean, yes, nowadays people have like all these crazy, like, whoa, made the NES able to run Doom or something crazy, or play like a not res game, and it's like, that's neat. But you also have like infinite time to make that,
Yeah.
and like do all these exploits with the hardware,
Yeah. And back then, all the dev teams were like 8 guys, and they had like 6 months to.
If even that, I mean, sometimes like, just like a ragtag. It's like an RPG party,
Yeah. So there is a skip over there where I can like bomb jump up and get the various suit early, but that's very hard, especially with only 1 energy tank, because I always end up falling into the acid.
You're gonna have to tank through some stuff and be like a not a hell run, a toxic run.
Yeah. Speaking of skips, this is technically our second try recording this, and
because of some audio issues.
Yeah. And during our first one, we did bring up comparisons with the latest entry in the series as of this recording, Metroid Dread. We were talking about like how skips differ, because one of the complaints with Samus Returns was like how linear it was. So they tried to.
They found out a way to like clip through walls, which they saw ahead of that and said, if you try to do that in Dread, instant death.
Yeah, and here's our first look at Motair Bryan with her singular eye.
Eyes on you.
Yep. Her big upgrade from the NES original. She has an eye now.
Yeah, it's literally the eye from like Resident Evil 2, like the title screen on the PS1 version.
Yeah. We were talking about like so Samus Returns pretty linear, so they wanted to address that in Dread, and to give them credit, they put in a good few areas where you can skip and sequence break and stuff. But what I had brought up,
some really cool like contextual things they can do, that it's like they acknowledge that this is how people want to be able to play the game.
Yeah, but what I brought up with that, and my issue with that is, especially comparing it to this game, is a lot of those sequence breaks are like very specific, and some of them you have to really go out of your way to get to, and some of them are like unintentional glitches where you can get a lot of mileage out of them. But trying to like slide and get the perfect frame, and you can like blast through something without having to actually slide into it. And I appreciate stuff like that too, especially if they don't patch it out. But with the intended stuff that they put in there, like I said, a lot of it kind of takes you out of your way, and the game as it's designed already kind of railroads you everywhere you go. So if you're like a naturally exploratory kind of person, there's a lot of stuff it'll lock you out of unless you're aware of those specific skips. Whereas I feel with this game, it's a lot more natural. Like there's a lot of areas in this game where just like the first couple times I played through the game, I would look at stuff and be like, well, wait a minute, can't I go and do this earlier or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
we brought it up in the last recording, which no one will see, but there's a certain super missile tank you can get with the speed booster, and
Yep.
normally it's something you would figure out later in the game, but once you see it, you're like, wait a minute, there's nothing stopping me from getting that before you're actually supposed to get super missiles. So it's it's stuff like that where I say this game is superior in terms of its level design for
Yeah.
in general and for sequence breaking, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I mean, yeah, the way we already do, I think a lot of that is mostly because they know your average person is not going to play the game maybe more than once, you know.
Yeah.
Because that they're trying to get good review scores and not get like stuff like a certain
David
game
Jaffe.
developer turned reviewer who
turned
well,
SJW activist who truants out his own kids, but that's for another time.
Yeah, you're kind of boiling a punchline. If whenever I go to play that, I was gonna, well, I won't say what, but but yeah, most of that's gonna be like interesting when we play it because we're gonna have some very differing opinions, I think, about some things.
Yeah, I know Zerk definitely enjoys the game a lot more than I do.
Well, I will say though, like I do wish it was more open.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I wish all these games were open. Like, I remember I tried playing a ROM hack of Fusion.
Yeah.
Because that was like the one game where it's like, there's a lot of things I like about the game, the sound design and other things, but it's just the game is like so locked down, and even with the ROM hack, the special edition one.
Well, for me, like being locked down and being linear isn't inherently bad. Like, because Fusion, honestly, Fusion is my favorite official 2D game.
Okay.
And, I replay that more than I even replay Zero Mission. So, like, being like that isn't inherently bad for me. I just feel like the way, and we could get into it more when we get to that game, when we get to both of those games, but I just feel like the way Dread handles everything, it's more, like, if you get lost in Dread, I think I have the right to call you a retard,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whereas, like, it's a little bit more understandable in Fusion because I have seen back when Miiverse was a thing on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I would visit the Metroid Fusion page, and you would see like all these kids playing Fusion for the first time. And they would be like, I'm stuck, I don't know where to go, what do I do? And I'm like, oh, really? But then, I would think back to when I was a kid and I played Fusion for the first time. Like, it's linear, and it does tell you what you gotta do.
I will say, I do specifically remember in Sector 5 that I definitely recall being like, how was I supposed to figure that out,
Yeah. I want to fuck myself over there.
Say maybe if you like get on the last pixel, you might be able to.
Can't wall jump on a DS4 very well. There we go.
I do it just fine on my 8-bit Dual Ultimate. There you go. Got 35 missiles. Good deal.
So speaking of like what I was talking about, like naturally discovering skips.
Yeah, in the first recording we did, this is like my first time seeing this.
Yeah, so I discovered this one on my second playthrough, like ever, because I feel like as soon as you enter the room, this little zoomer or jeemer or whatever.
Just jump over.
Yeah, he's like right. He starts right there. So and then the little purple flame dude, he's also right there, so you're kind of naturally drawn to like, why would those enemies be placed there if I'm just meant to like fall down a bunch of pit blocks, right?
Yeah.
So then you like experiment a little bit, and then you figure out there's a missile block right there.
Yep. See, the thing I would figure that out back in the day using like, I would just like have to power bomb it because that's kind of like your your sort of not X-ray visor,
Yeah, that's been like the de facto X-ray visor ever since Super.
Yeah, it's good. You only get like I think what they wanted to avoid with the Game Boy Advance ones is the whole thing of like hitting like so many like having hit select so many times, like select something and cycle through it.
Yeah.
Which I will say that is one thing. I know some people don't like that aspect of Dread, like the controls. But it's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like after you play it for a bit and get a feel for it, it's like okay, I get what they're going for with this. You know, you just hit one button, you get your grapple beam, and you can like dash with this and that. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
like
some of it I never really got used to, kind of like Super, how you're like constantly switching through items all the time.
Yeah, and I will say, first time playing Dread, it was kind of weird to play a Metroid game that wasn't just like two
D-pad.
buttons. I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's like AM2R, but that's in Samus Returns. But
Yeah.
spoiler warning, I've never really played Samus Returns.
Yeah, and
not saying it's
we're still undecided on if we're gonna include that on the old marathon here.
Yeah, mostly because trying to record it.
It's a bit harder
is
nowadays
kind
than
of
it used to be.
yeah, it's gonna be I mean, it's not like impossible, but
Yeah.
it's just it's one of those things where I personally think if you really want to play a modern version of Metroid 2, AM2R.
I mean,
exists,
AM2,
yes,
like, yeah, I mean, I know you haven't played Samus Returns, but, I can say AM2R is superior, like, in every way.
Even if there's like, because the thing is, like, some people be like, oh, they do things differently, and yeah, that's true, and I'm not. I'm glad they're different. I wouldn't want them to be like just the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although there's parts where it feels like the Samus Returns, like where it feels like Mercury Steam, like took a little too much inspiration from AM2R.
That would be kind of interesting, considering that game got taken down a year before AM2R. Year before the Metroid Samus Returns. I think it was even like, let alone released, like revealed.
Yeah.
To go back to origins for a second here, because this is like the first game, so.
Yeah, and you do get a bit of an origin story, but it's told very visually. And
yeah, but
that's another thing I like about like these older 2D games is they do get a fair amount of storytelling done visually.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of dialogue, like actual spoken dialogue, because there's like the monologue at the beginning, but that's a monologue.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like reading a book and you see the character's thoughts, and it's like, okay, that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, you don't need Samus to turn to the camera and say, "He was like a father figure to me."
Oh boy. Yeah, we got a lot to say about certain other M's of a game, when we get to it, And it is funny you put it that way, because, usually in certain like angsty games, with a male protagonist, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
And there's certain complex that a certain psychoanalyst, that a lot of media, I think, use. And the thing is, like, the thing about Freud is, like, even when you take like a modern like psychology class, a lot of times, a lot of professors, they dunk on him. Like, there's like some things they like repression and like sublimation, I think, are like the only things that they kind of
my introduction to Freud was the teacher being like, all right, we got to go over this guy, but like all this stuff is bullshit.
The thing is, the guy was like on freaking cocaine, and I know people make jokes about cocaine, but back in the day, like, that was like a legit like pain reliever for people.
Yeah.
Like, this is back in the era of like, this like 1800s. This is back when like Coca-Cola,
lived up to its name.
Yeah, lived up to its actual name, and it was actually used as like a medicine for like Civil War veterans.
So here's another skippity-doo-dah we did. We got the iconic variable suit.
Barrier suit.
Yeah.
if you speak Japanese, but barrier suit.
It lets Samus let parasites inhabit her body risk-free.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
not all parasites.
Yeah.
Not a certain other parasite.
Yeah, you're gonna need to take ivermectin for this.
Yeah. I know if you
like,
do it like the other way with like the bomb jump, where you do it before getting the high jump, it doesn't block you for that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I guess they really did think of everything as far as like letting you go wherever and whenever you want, for the most part.
Yeah.
Which is why Metroidvania is just like GTA, dude. And I'm like, no.
Open the world.
Although I mean, it would be kind of neat to see like a maybe not open world, but like a sim sort of game, like a Deus Ex like or something.
I've always wanted to see kind of like Prime 3, like a open universe kind of thing where you just can kind of go to any planet at first and like you do like actual bounties.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we'll get into it. In
Yeah,
Prime
I
3.
know
They
how
actually
Nintendo
wanted to do-
feels about the
Yeah,
word that they
they
poorly
explain,
chose.
they explain like what a bounty hunter is actually supposed to be, and they're like,
They were like, oh shit, dude.
Gee, like, like cowboys or something like this is a fistful of dollars
It
or
was a
something.
funny American word.
Yeah, we didn't know we didn't think it was like Boba Fett, even though we like literally. I mean, there's a lot of like anime, like media in general that kind of just references Star Wars like that.
Yeah, it's a huge influence on like everything basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, which is funny because like Star Wars was really just referencing like other stuff.
Yeah, Flash Gordon and those kind of older things.
Well, yeah, and then like legends like Beowulf and
Yeah.
like if any of you've ever seen was it the Making of an Empire or whatever, or Empire of Dreams, that's what it is. Like that's like a one thing. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it. But yeah, they talk about like all the influences and like who influenced George Lucas and Joseph Campbell and all that.
Yeah. So here's another little fun skip. When you get down here, you're like, oh, speed booster, and you get the speed booster long before you are supposed to get your first super missiles. So that's one where I was like immediately like, oh, wait, I could just get that super early.
Yep. Super early. Right on point. Just imagine we got like an ultra missile. It just has the
that's something I would expect from
64.
That's something I would expect from like Mercury Steam to do, because they freaking turned double jumping into a power up. So like, why not give us the ultra missile?
Well, I mean, there's not really much of a need because we'll get into it in Dread. But once you get the storm missile, like everything just falls apart. Which I mean, it should, but like.
Yeah.
Like the explosions themselves are not even like as strong as like a super missile.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do. It's basically just a secret missile from Prime 2.
Yeah.
But even more like powerful.
Yeah. And we've reached the home of our first buddy, Craig. We're gonna give Craig a nice little visit, see what he's up to.
He's not got as many bitch tits. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. See how he's been eating. See if he's keeping up with his keto diet or whatever.
No, that's what you use if you want to lose weight. He's eating the I'm gonna eat every pizza, the overeating diet, the Nikocado avocado diet before he did his little social experiment or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like a peek at like some of the stuff we DM each other about on Discord. But like, whenever I saw that, I just sent like a whole bunch of links or like basically like the THX sound effect,
Yeah.
Because it's like imagine like a big giant edit and it's like, what the it's like, what happened,
Yeah.
Oh, you need to restore the power.
I didn't know you could actually grab onto that before turning the power on.
I think I tried it like once and it's like, oh, okay. Just need power, man. Because that's like everything, like, that reminds me of like Call of Duty Zombies, like everything, like, in order to do so many things, you have to like turn the power on.
Oh.
And then do like a whole bunch of other crazy stuff to unlock this and that. Like to get like, what is it? Fucking like, what do they call it where you guys, I don't know. If any of you play like Call of Duty Zombies, the Pack-a-Punch, that's what it was. The Pack-a-Punch, like, get like laser weapons and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like your like Galil or like your AK or whatever.
Yeah. Here's our first mini boss of the game, Mr. I don't actually know what his name is, but
Tapeworm of I don't actually know.
Yeah. That's
what we're calling him.
This is the guy who used to keep Kraid skinny until he moved out.
Yeah. He was trying to do an intervention on his like diet, and then he got kicked out for it.
For eating too much.
He got kicked out for. They him for he spoke the truth. And if this was the original Metroid, that enemy would be
flipping
spazzing
out
out right now.
Yep.
Quite literally. They wouldn't even know what to do.
Oh, so these little launchers, when I was a
Yeah.
kid, I thought they were just like Chozo legs with a little pod in it. But then
Oh, okay.
someone pointed out it's two birds with the thing right next to it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it does look like two birds.
I don't think I've ever even noticed that. Yeah, because I don't think they're the
Yeah,
Chozo
if you look at
that.
it here, yeah, like, see when I saw it, I thought it
okay, I
was
see.
I thought it was like two legs squatting down, and that's how it shoots you up. But it's two birds apparently.
I don't know if that's just like the pixel art of like the GBA or just them being like that's detailed and it's like you're just because I mean Metroid whenever you're playing it like the way someone who's played not like casual playing it
Yeah.
You kind of just are blasting through things. You're not paying attention to small details like that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not like relevant to like the gameplay.
Yeah.
But I do know like in like Dread that granted it's a Chozo planet. It's like the home Chozo planet.
Yeah, I feel like this game has like more cool like Chozo imagery and just like design stuff rather than Dread does. I feel like
Well, I
Dread
think the
really
thing is,
only
like-
has like one or two areas that feel like Chozo-ish.
Well, I think Dread is like kind of a different kind of Chozo planet.
Yeah.
Or like Chozo setting because I mean.
Yeah, I
it's the whole
know
planet,
it's like the
and
radical faction and whatnot, but it's still
the-
they still have that like kind of technology and carvings and
Yeah. I mean, they're being like radical because they're making like robot versions of their soldiers,
yeah.
which actually is probably mostly because of spoiler reasons. We'll get into when we finally get to that.
Yeah. Even if we don't play Samus Returns, we should probably at least look at like the unlockable images there, because that does kind of set up the story of Dread.
Trying to think.
The ones where it
I don't think it's like that necessary because I think you get most of that in the game itself.
because it does show
and
like
then
the
what-
Chozo faction coming to SR388 and betraying them and
Well,
whatnot.
I think they do. I think they do show that. Actually, from what I remember. Like,
Okay.
just in like a quick image.
Okay.
But,
But the way they do it in
like-
Samus Returns, it's like a jump scare. Like it literally comes out of nowhere.
Oh, you talking about like that one screen where it turns red?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen bits and pieces and like footage of it. I know there's like the digger knot thing or whatever.
Yep.
The enemy with like an attack.
Be careful how you say
grabs
that.
you. What now?
Be careful how you say that.
Yeah, I said digger knot. I made sure. I sure hope it yes. In case you, for whatever reason, it didn't come through on the mic, that was a D, not
Nintendo, no.
that reminds me of. Should I repeat what Phil said in the one Dread? Like, this is how you don't play.
What did he say?
He said, "Oh no."
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah, you showed me that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big giant and then there's like a big giant montage where it's like Tyrone fuck my wife, fuck my dog or whatever,
And the next day he's like, guys, I don't do racial humor, guys. Come on.
Arnold Phil's a nigger, right? Thumbs down, motherfucker! He said the N-word on TV. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Yeah, I know. Look out, there's a black woman coming! Ah!
He's like, I did not say that, Like, come on.
Guys.
Anyways, we're getting closer to Craig, otherwise known as Craig.
Our good old buddy Craig, chilling out. He has this nice bouncer, the eye.
That goes down in one missile blast, which is
Yeah.
like a big giant nothing.
When I first did that, I was prepared to like give him 3 hits, like in Fusion. When I first played this, I'm like, what the hell?
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like on Super, they have like the missiles take like 5 missile the missile doors take like 5 missiles to open.
Yeah.
In like every other game since. I like how there's like an invisible wall.
Yeah. I remember being able to
like,
wall jump on it, but I guess not.
Oh, real? Oh, that would be funny. Like, what are you wall jumping on?
Yeah.
It's probably just a property they put like temporarily.
I could have sworn I've
like,
wall jumped on that invisible wall before, though. And now we have the speeding booster.
Yep, time to do some speed.
Yep.
Hey, Jafu! I'm gonna go really fast.
Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got attitude. Sonic.
You know, I actually do wonder, like with the speed booster in Super Metroid,
Yeah.
like with how fast she goes, if that's actually faster than like what Sonic can go in like the Sega games. You know,
I doubt it.
You know, thinking of like all the old like retro wars back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember like James, he did his like NES versus what is it? NES versus Genesis or Super Nintendo versus Genesis video back in the day,
Yeah.
and it made like a big point of like, yeah, just going all at you.
They
he's
want that
like,
Samus
like,
booty.
basically everything like in terms of like the specs, if you like looked at on the paper specs, like
Yeah.
the only thing the Genesis had was like processing server was like a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's what they used to claim blast process.
Like, yeah, and technically it could go even faster if you like do an actual like there's a switch on the system overclock. Not
okay.
you know you have to delid and like use and solder this and that together to get like a ridiculous like overclock. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're about to get our first look at Samus's arch enemy.
Yeah.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
By the way, I will say those ships look like
Sperm.
wow. This still filthy animal just pulled it right out of my mouth.
It's a sperm mutation of some sort.
And this thing falls apart.
Yep. And
Oh,
that's...
you're gonna go in there?
Yeah, I'll just show it off real quick. If I mean, this didn't happen in the original game. There's a different statue that technically crumbles.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But,
oh, that's right. It's just a guide. Okay.
Yeah, and since I already got it, he's sitting down. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, in the original game, it's like this big giant monster. It actually looks like something you see in Fusion. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You know that one monster goes like, goes
Yeah.
out from the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ridley. So, kind of an interesting character. He's actually very tied to
Very
Samus's
pivotal.
past.
Yeah, very pivotal to who Samus is as a person.
So, like just like in Gundam, you have space colonies. Going on here. Oh, okay. Here you go. This is something I never would have thought to do. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that you could bomb that, but it just never like occurred to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna save up here because this one usually takes me a couple tries.
Oh, there's like a specific pixel, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But we're gonna get some super missiles early.
Yep. But yeah, well, while he does that, I'm gonna go and tell you guys. So basically, just like in Gundam, there's a bunch of space colonies on whatever planet or whatever they built, and there's this one called K2L. That's Samus's home colony, right?
Yeah.
Her parents grew up.
Floating
He also
space
has a
colony.
brother.
Yeah.
So basically one day some people from some Chozo show up, and they're like, "Yo, we want some we need you to mine some stuff." And Samus just happens to be going over there and kind of friendly with the Chozo,
Yeah.
She's like 5 or 6 or something. But then a whole bunch of space pirates show up.
Oh, got it on the first try. All right.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Good job, GG. But yeah, so yeah, they show up and Ridley is leading them, and they basically kill pretty much everyone, including her parents. Like,
Yep.
I think her father, like,
He did a
like
heroic sacrifice kind of thing, yeah.
yeah, he does like
It didn't actually work. He probably just only killed like a couple space pirates, but
yeah, and then like her mom, I think, literally got like impaled by like Ridley, if I remember right.
yeah.
But yeah, so basically a whole bunch of stuff happened. Someone escapes and survives, on like the Chozo ship that they came on,
Yeah.
and one thing leads to another, and they take her to Zebes, the planet we're on now, and they infuse her with Chozo DNA. How does that work? Science.
Bird
Yeah,
science.
Walter White. Yeah, science. You know.
Future bird technology.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that's not even the craziest it gets. Later on in the story, we get into it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So she, yeah. So they do that mostly because I guess you need that to use the Chozo suit, I think.
I think it was just to even like breathe on the atmosphere of Zebes,
Yeah, it's
just to
something
survive.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, like, she like suffocates or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen like Mudahar's like videos about like
Yeah.
creepypastas, like it's stuff like the old really like meme image for like Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage.
Yeah.
Like he would have stuff like that when it's like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense,
Yeah.
usually for like, because usually he'll like read it and then like have like a reaction to like how stupid it is, or like this makes no sense, or yeah, Thomas does that, and there's something else that gets revealed later that we won't go into because it gets revealed basically at the end of the series chronologically.
Yeah.
Unless of course Prime 4 happens after, which
I doubt it, because they need.
I mean,
It looks like there was
yeah.
Metroids. I think they actually showed like actual Metroids in one of the trailers or something. So
I almost wonder if what their plan with that, with like the Metroid series, like Prime specifically is like, okay, look, this can be between Metroid 1 and 2, but you can't do anything after Super or something.
I think
You know what I
I
mean?
think that's just what they're kind of forced to deal with because that's the only time Metroids can exist, pretty much.
Yeah. But I mean, they can always be like, oh, they found like a new DNA strand or whatever. I mean, they can always do stuff like that where they make stuff up and be like, yeah, this is totally what we're gonna do because it's a big franchise.
Yeah. All right. I always forget those door bombs.
I will say I do like the Norfair theme in this.
Yeah.
Like I will say, I'm not a fan of like every. I will say, like, when it comes to music, like music you want to headbang to, like Metroid is not usually my go-to. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's plenty of tracks throughout the series. I think that make a sizable library of really good shit. I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like when I think about like, oh, I'm gonna drive to this, like I'd rather drive to like Ridge Racer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Initial D. I mean, Initial D, or like would be like on brand.
Yeah. Just gonna hop over you.
Like I think most Metroid music that isn't like some of the stuff in Prime is like very much a very atmospheric,
Yeah.
Like as opposed to like oh man, this is like a banger. This is like the vampire killer of like Metroid,
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we're gonna end.
We're gonna cut it.
Yeah, we're gonna end the first part here. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps us out. Share the video with any of your pals who might be interested in Metroid. And once we see the videos are doing well, we're gonna continue the series, continue the marathon.
Maybe even do some other games in the meantime.
Yeah.
However we end up doing it, because I mean I have some stuff that may or may not be recorded that we could do.
Yeah. So yes, I hope you enjoyed that, and until then, we'll catch you in the next episode.